Well, as I kind of brought up to you, we talked about a little bit before, there's a tsunami of loans. I mean, with the 2% tickets, what we call them tickets when it was 2%, 3%, we've never seen interest rates at that low in the market. The average interest rate in the US history has been around 4 to 5%. That's the average. And we've never seen tickets around 2 or 3%.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Bashiri, and today I'm joined by someone I've really been looking forward to chatting with, Ashkan Bashiri, who's been making serious moves in the residential mortgage and real estate investment space. Ashkan is a 25-year real estate veteran who bought his first multi-unit at age 23 and never looked back. Today he is the co-founder and the founder of Go Home Funding, and a master of finance who helps investors navigate the complex world of mortgages to build real lasting wealth. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned pro, Ashkan is the guy who knows how to make the numbers work. Ashkan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Scott.
Our pleasure. I think our audience is really going to take something away from the way you've managed to take the sophisticated financial engineering of Wall Street and apply it to the single-family rental market. Ashkan, let's dive in, shall we?
Sure. Yeah, let's go.
So first off, for people who may not be familiar with your world, give us the short version. What's been your main focus these days?
Well, our main focus has been definitely the DSCR and bank statement loans, as a lot of what I call full doc loans are harder to qualify based on the interest rates and overall income that people need to have in order to qualify for some of these average homes. In California, we're looking at an average of $500,000 or into $500,000 home, which require at least $9,000 or $10,000 a month. That's almost $100,000 a year in income. And that's why we are switched and are more focused on the bank statement and the DSCR loans in order to get the investors qualified, and also, business owners. A lot of the business owners, they have great cash flow, and so we can use their bank statements in order to qualify them to buy their first home.
Ashkan, what markets are you concentrating on right now?
Well, the markets that we're in Sacramento, Northern California, but we lend all over throughout California, as far as, and I also do private equity, private money. We do about $2 million of that every month, and mainly in California, at rates that I feel comfortable lending. I hate to deal with some of the private or hard money lending that I see out there. The cost is just crazy, but we do have a lot of investors and contractors who they come to us on a regular basis as we help them scale their real estate purchase game. And then I always tell people is, call Ashkan for cash. So we just basically Ash for cash is what everybody calls me. Hey, Ash, I'm calling for cash. And so I'm like, that's all the contractor guys, because they know I find the money once they're looking, especially if they're in the investment and development. So we have several development deals we have that we also been focusing on, and we segging into more of the commercial stuff. That's been our focus for the past 2 years. And the reason that came about was really as a necessity for a lot of our clients who we had been lending on their businesses or on their residential homes, and now they're reaching out to us because they're looking for solutions on the commercial side, especially somebody to hold their hand to show them really how to do it. As somebody who's owned business for over 25 years, I understood all the nuances of what they have to deal with in order to borrow from institutional lenders or private equity lenders, and what they need to do to set themselves up and get ready for those type of lending possibilities. So that's where we've been focusing on for the past 2 years. But prior to that and ongoing is definitely residential. And the pivot that we've done, like I said, it's been more on the bank statement and DSCR. I probably have done over just in last month of just DSCR. Now you can get a bank statement loan with 10% down at 7 7/8 interest rate, which is not that far off from a full doc loan. And for somebody who's only worked in the business for 1 year, the fact that we can get that done for them, that's huge. And I do that with the understanding of they have to get, when I first started, a lot of them takes about 4 or 5 months to get them to the position to do the purchases. And what I tell them is, look, you have to, as a prerequisite, you have to get in with one of my CPAs and you have to get in with my account so they can help you manage your new income that you have.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Love it. Ashkan, what caught my attention about you was the way you've been able to identify the structural undersupply in housing and use it to drive a staggering 101% growth rate in your portfolio. Most people see real estate as a slow and steady game, but you've turned it into a data-driven, institutional-grade machine. I'm excited to have our audience hear how you bridge that gap between complex finance and boots-on-the-ground investing.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the whole idea of the ADU process, right? As far as the number of housing that's available for people. So in the California and different counties are different. Like in LA, you can actually add up to 3 ADU units per single parcel. In Sacramento, it's 2 ADU units per parcel. I personally was able to put a 2-unit ADU in back of a 4-unit complex that I own, a 4-unit property. So, and now I'm financing guys in LA right now. They bought a property for over $1 million, and they're actually, and these are contractors. They're putting 3 ADUs on a what I call a small lot, because it's literally they're putting housing. And now under the new regulations especially in LA, you can individually sell these units, which is where before it would come as a separate address on a property. Now you can actually sell them. And that's going to be the game changer. A lot of counties or a lot of cities are they're kind of playing around with that idea. But I think that's the part that we are, sort of getting ourselves in a position to help homeowners not only to take advantage of this pent-up equity they've been sitting on. I mean, a lot of people that we're noticing right now that are listing their homes, either they're dying in them because most of their families are now dealing with properties that basically they were not able to sell or downsize on because of the great rate that they were locked in 2019. So now that they're basically they're stuck in this low rates, so they have this huge equity that they want to do something with. So we're showing them how to, by connecting them with some of the ADU companies that I work with, I can show them, hey, we can pull out the equity. You can go ahead and add another unit for whether you want to rent it, whether you want to move a family member into it, whatever the case may be. But in the future, you can technically also sell this as a separate unit as an investment if you wanted to. So that's the game changer that we're seeing now. And how we're scaling. My own personal level, I mean, I'm building an ADU back on my property. I have a lot next door that I bought that I'm adding to as a single family with attached ADU. And also as far as development is concerned, we have 18 unit development that I'm doing condos in McKinleyville, which is right by the coast in California, Northern California, which we've been working on for the past 2 years. So because of the lack of housing and because of certain markets, especially in California, these smaller and more cost-effective housing is where we're seeing it. And I've seen it also in a lot of people reaching out to us for borrowing money on mobile home parks, where they're taking these mobile home parks and actually adding a different level of comfort to them. So we're seeing a lot of that happening, especially up in areas, in the rural areas and like towards the Humboldt area, which I basically have a lot of connections up that way. They're buying these old mobile home parks and they're either making them into short-term rentals or they're making them into what I call luxury mobile home parks with beautiful bathrooms, with beautiful amenities. So that's kind of been what we're focusing on as well. But before it used to be you go buy a multiple unit, but now we're buying properties that have a potential of becoming multiple units and adding on those multiple units.
Awesome. And I guess the next question is, what's been the key to keeping your machine running smoothly?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
It's never smooth, Scott. I don't know what you mean. I make it look smooth. But really, it's research and connection. I think in the age of AI, as much as everybody says AI this, AI that, I think our biggest advantage has been the human connection. And also admitting to the fact that there's some things you don't know, and you have to just ask for assistance. And I am not an accountant, but I do have good accountants that I talk to and I consult with on a regular basis. I'm not a good attorney, but I know my laws. I know who everything needs to be. And as somebody who does private equity lending, I have to be very careful about security of my investors' assets and how we can collateralize the properties that we've taken on. Make sure that the investor is fully collateralized and secured with their money. So that's the main thing, is to putting the time and also connecting with people that can improve your game and not be afraid of asking and saying, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Can you show me how to do this? And I think that's the part is that there's a lot of egos, and I try to constantly check my ego at the door when I talk to people.
Human touch, that really says it all.
Yeah.
That's huge. Now, Ashkan, every operator I know has a moment where things got real. Maybe a deal went sideways or a time that you had to pivot fast. You mind sharing one of those moments with us?
I'm in the middle of one right now. You want to know something really crazy so we landed on a gas station deal where I put my own private money into it, about $100,000 worth. And this property, and I brought in my private equity lender as well for another $1 million. So we got $1.1 million into this property. And there's something crazy going on with the borrower, and there's a lot of nuances. But what happened is the title forgot to, or they recorded 3 notes in the wrong county, and we were never able to actually. Nobody reached out to us to tell us about it. So I had learned something new, and then the borrower had gone, since they knew there's no liens on the property they just purchased. They went and pulled out another $250,000 on that property. So now we're in the middle of some type of. So that's one of those things where you, as somebody who's a facilitator like me, we had to really. And it wasn't even my own money. I was more worried about my private equity lender that relies on me to make sure I did everything by the book, which I did. And I found out we were all good. This was a mistake on the title side. But so that's where things, that's one of the areas. And these are new areas where the private equity market is a huge part of the new market, that people don't even know how much money is in private equity, how much funding there's in that area. That's a big unknown. And they say the biggest volatility in our market right now is in that area. And also some of these loans that we are doing with DSCRs, some of the loans that we are doing, these loans are literally been coming on in the last 5 or 6 years. And especially, I would say in the last 2 years, very, very heavily marketed. And are these loans truly going to perform the way we've been doing the full doc loans, and the way we collateralize and put those loans together? And those are the big question marks. And I think we need to be more careful as professionals to make sure not only we protect our clients, as a fiduciary duty of helping our clients understand these loans, but also to make sure, I want to make sure when I do any kind of financing for my clients, at the end of the day, I can go to bed and feel good about it. And I think that's the part that I think is very important for me, and that's the compass that I use to run my business.
You did say that things don't always run smoothly, and that was a fine example. And Ashkan, it's incredible how the moments that feel like a disaster, in real time, often become the foundation for the 10 years of growth next. Sometimes a negative can transform into a positive. And honestly, that right there is the filter. It's what weeds out the dabblers and defines the investors who actually have the staying power to weather the cycles. Let me ask you this. What are you most focused on solving or scaling next?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Well, as I kind of brought up to you, we talked about a little bit before, there's a tsunami of loans. I mean, with the 2% tickets, what we call them tickets when it was 2%, 3%, we've never seen interest rates at that low in the market. The average interest rate in the U.S. history has been around 4 to 5%. That's the average. And we've never seen tickets around 2 or 3%. And with that, nobody really understood when that was happening during the pandemic years. Nobody understood the ramification of those loans and what it does to the market. We see like I said, a lot of people that are basically cannot downsize. My parents are one of them. They live in a $1 million home, but they cannot downsize to a smaller home because by the time they're paying their taxes on a normal home, $600,000, there's not going to be a huge advantage for them to give up their nice luxury home to go to a smaller home, because they're still paying. Even if they buy cash, again, the taxes are going to still be the same as what they didn't have. They were assessed at a much lower tax bracket when they were buying the house that they own. And now if they buy a new house at $600,000, there's just the tax assessment is going to be higher. So they'll have a higher monthly output. And for people who are, on a fixed income or a limited income, the inflation has really outpaced what people's limited incomes are. And I think that is the biggest threat that we see. So as far as where I'm focused on right now, I'm doing more of the business. I'm focused on more on the commercial side of helping my clients that have cash flow to really help them scale and also help them maneuver out of these, what I call fixed swamps. They're fixed rate 3% swamp that they're stuck in that they can't get out. And how are they going to maneuver by using their equity, the investment that's sitting there, and actually help them utilize that equity into buying other assets that are performing.
Sure. What's the next real big goal for you?
Well, I have several developments that I'm working on personally. So that's, I have an 18-year development, like I said, that I've been working on for 2, 3 years. And I have several, on my own property here. I have a couple of deals that are, we're basically finishing up all the plans and drawings and stuff in order to submit. I mean, the biggest problem with that is the constant fluctuation in costs, right? So the supply line situations, and now with the Iran and US war and Israel, and I mean, that's going to definitely, you're going to be feeling a lot of pinches down the line, probably 5 or 6 months from now. So really getting myself as well as my clients ready for what's about to come. And I know I sent you a podcast on one of the, I'm somewhat of an expert in that area, you would say, but, I keep a lot of my fingers on a lot of geopolitics, and also because those things matter. And that's one of the things that happened when 2008, 2009, when the whole economic downturn came. I personally had to shut down my businesses, and I had to learn how to evolve and how to. That's where I pivoted actually out of I owned high-end salons, and I basically switched over into full-time real estate, even though I always had my businesses as a way to create cash flow for my real estate game. That was my whole reason I did the businesses. So I'm a proven track record. I'm one of those guys who have actually done it. What I'm preaching is what I've done. It's not something that I just learned something from somebody on YouTube and decided to make money off of it. And it's not as easy as everybody says. You have to be diligent. You have to constantly evolve, and you have to definitely learn how to perfect your skills. And things change. So one of the things I learned in the 2011 crisis is that I need to pay more attention to the government policies and what's going on around the world. And as a part of that, I went back and got 2 masters. I have an MBA and I have a master in public health, which I got in my when I was 38, which after 20 years of not being in college. But I did it as a way because I was butthurt about what happened. I had the fact that I had to shut down my businesses that had worked for 25 years and change the whole career path. But I wanted to learn about why this happened. And I think that was our moment for me to learn about government policy, because those little policies that you hear about, a lot of business owners and a lot of individuals don't pay attention to that, especially a lot of business, real estate investors. They don't pay enough attention to some of these changes. And I think if they don't if they don't really take the time to understand them, it will come back and bite them in the butt.
That's huge. And I love the vision. But we both know that new levels bring new devils, so to speak. So who do you need to become as a leader in the next 12 months to be ready for the version of your life?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I wish you would have told me that I can't prepare. But as far as um, I personally am trying to just understand. I think the biggest problem that we're having right now is understanding the facts, because with the age of AI, with the age of all the social media, with all the things that are going
Right.
on, I, just understanding what are the facts, what are the things that we know is true, right? Not knowing, and how are we going to be able to maneuver based on just deciphering first of all what the facts are, so we can say, okay, based on these, I'm going to do these things in my life. And I think that's been the biggest challenge for me as an individual, and as somebody who I'm constantly researching. I'm constantly and tells me that I'm addicted to social media or to YouTube and all that. But as somebody who's constantly, because I'm worried, and I need to understand, because I don't want my ass to be handed to me again like it did in 2011, right? And I think there are things right now that are happening that are beyond our maybe scope of understanding, or and with digital currency, which I have pretty, been involved in for about 5 or 10 years. With the way these wars are happening, the supply chains, especially somebody who's in real estate, we're looking to develop, we're looking to buy and build an ADU. I'll shoot $50,000 more next month if you don't watch out. If you're planning on you've been working for 2 years or a year to get all your stuff in ducks in a row to do it. And then you go to do it, and all of a sudden your supply chain has been blown, and you're basically paying $50,000 more. And that's the things that I'm looking at right now, right down my supply, my in front of me right now, where I have multiple projects that are, if I feel like if I don't jump on it now and lock the supply chain on it and get all the materials, that I'm going to be paying a lot more for them, because the fuel cost is going to go up, and that's going to drive all the inflation and everything else.
Absolutely. Well said and great perspective. Thank you for sharing
Thank you.
that. That next move is where the leverage lifts. It can either perfect your operations or detonate your workflow, depending on the strategy that you deploy. Interested to know, you can't build an empire alone, Ashkan. When you're looking to bring someone in your inner circle or your relationship team, what is the one non-negotiable trait you look for that isn't on a resume?
Being
Mhm.
genuine.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear all the good. I want to hear all the bad first. And people who have too much ego, and I say this as somebody who has to check his own ego all the time, right? But and I also work with friends and partners that have very big egos as well. But also just trying to get them to the level to where they finally let go and actually can communicate with you on an honest level. That to me is the biggest challenge as humans, and also as business professionals in the future. So that's something that I constantly, that's a skill that I'm constantly trying to perfect and try to be better at. And really, and also look for those type of people they're honest, that they can own their mistakes, they can actually be truthful, and when they don't know something, so they can ask for it rather than trying to fake something that is going to cost a lot more money down the road for everybody. So these are things that I look for. I'm not looking for a bunch of fluff. Anybody, we're all in sales business, right? I'm a salesman, you're a salesman, we're all salesmen, so we know how to sell. But to really know who you are and be genuine about what you do know and don't know is really important.
That's the biggest skill that a person can have, the ability to connect with individuals. That is huge. Now, I know a lot of our audience is either earlier in their journey, Ashkan, or looking to level up to some degree. And I think they'd benefit from hearing this from you. When it comes to building relationships and growing your network, what's made the biggest difference for you?
So I'm one of those guys that people, they always tell me, like, I'll pick up the phone calls and talk to them. I don't like to text. If the text is more than 2 sentences for me, I have to pick up the phone. I cannot be, expecting to relay all the things that I want to relay on 2 sentences with you. If I don't feel I need to talk to you. So one of the things I would tell you is constant contact is with, and my spheres change, and I'm sure everybody's does. Like when I'm dealing, especially when you're dealing with 8 or 9 clients a month that you're in contract. There's some of them are bigger, some are smaller. I told you, I got deals that are like $20 million worth of, which I've been working for 6 months, and I have deals that are like $400,000. But I try to make it prioritize each person in my life and try to make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I have a list of things that I write down and I make sure. So one of the things that I would tell you, any of your audience, especially new audience, people, write things down. I think that's the biggest thing that I see is it's not given enough credit to. Write it down. Write down I write down my yearly goal, and I do it in my notes on my phone. It's not like I, it doesn't have to be fancy. And I do it with, on a daily basis. And I've seen billionaires, that I know in my town, they're commercial real estate billionaires, and I know their work ethics. These guys would come to my work with me. They show up with 3 notepads. One for today, one for yesterday, and one for tomorrow. And they would handwrite transfer these from day to day. So keeping track of your work and keeping track. And some people are really good at maybe keeping all, and I'm one of those people that I'm really good at keeping my interest, things that I'm focused on. I'm I'm an executor. I like to execute. And I just stick with it until I do. But in the overall, when you want to scale your business and you go to different, you cannot keep track of all those things. So, and I think AI, as much as people want to bring in AI and all that, the AI can only do so much for you. You need to really take the time and create your own pattern and your own game. And nothing takes away from, again, writing it down, and just saying, hey, this is what I want. And this is what I have to do today and tomorrow. Even with AI, you have to give it a prompt, right? It won't do it by itself. So my thing is, that's the biggest thing that I see that's missed. People, whenever they have an idea or whatever they want to do, they never write it down. And they wonder why they never get it done. I think by writing it down, you're taking the first step into execution. And anytime I'm really serious about a business, somebody who's got an MBA, I just literally write down a 2-pager on it. And I just take 2 minutes to write it down. And by the end of it, if I'm still not passionate about it, I'm not going to do it.
Awesome words. And that hits home. In an industry that is so transactional, being the person who actually shows up when there isn't a deal on the table and is willing to go the extra mile, wake up in the morning and do the right thing. Hey, that's what gives you the competitive edge. It's that unsexy consistency, I think, that I'm taking away from the most, that most people aren't willing to do, Ashkan. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out, connect with you, maybe collaborate or learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Like I said, I like phone calls. So 916-600-4919 is my phone number. Has been my phone number for, I think, since I don't want to age myself, 82. And then ashkan.bash is my email. That's my personal email that I basically work with a lot of my investors and people that always reach out to me on that. And then I can probably provide you with our email for my work as well as my other contact information as well. So you can put that up for your audience.
Perfect. Well, listen, I appreciate your time, your story, and your perspective. We need more people in this space who are doing it the right way. Thanks again for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And for those of you tuning in, if you got value from this, make sure you're subscribed. We have more conversations coming up with operators just like Ashkan, who are out there building real businesses. We'll see you in the next episode, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.